So again, today we are going to be talking about the cell cycle and what that has to do with DNA. Really quickly, I want to go over your homework. We talked a lot about DNA. We talked a lot about the cells. We will be going more in detail today. So your homework is to talk to a friend about your notes. This is a form of study, and when you discuss it with a friend about what happened in class, what you don't understand, maybe they may give you some insight to help you understand. They may not understand something, and you may be able to help them. You want to be able to discuss that stuff. In doing that, you will receive extra credit, but the way to get the extra credit is you must send me a Remind 101 of a summarization of your conversation. There's a couple of ways that you can do that. If you're not signed up with me with Remind 101, you better get signed up. If you're not, then I guess you can't get the extra credits. Put your hand out for a second. The way that you are going to document this information and send it to me, you could just send it like a text message when you're texting your friends and you do it in Remind 101, that's fine. If you are doing a kick or a text back and forth with your friends talking about it, you can screenshot that conversation and send that. You can take a little Snapchat video and upload that to Remind 101. There's various different ways that you can do that, but your message cannot be identical to another person's message. So it's not like, oh, what'd you send us with? I'm just going to copy that and send it. That ain't going to work.
Like the person was having a conversation with
If you screenshot the same thing and send it, then that's fine because I see what your input is and what their input is. As far as if they're sending a message or a video, obviously the video is not going to be the same, but if you're texting a message, you can't just use somebody else's text message and send it. Email, you can sign up for Remind 101 through email too, so there is no excuse. But it is extra credit. It's extra credit, so you don't have to do it. It is due by 10 o'clock tonight.
She answered my other question.
Why is it Remind 101? Huh?
So the number you text us from, I can reply on that. The number you text us from, I can reply on that.
Yep.
You said no?
I'll talk to you later. All right. So with that being said, let's go ahead and get started. On today, we are going to be talking about the cell cycle. On your note sheet that you have in front of you, there is space here and there's space on the side. You are going to be jotting this information down in the space that's here. You need to write a little bit smaller. It's not a whole lot of information that we're going to be taking notes on, but it is some information, so you'll write in this empty space here. Turn off one of those lights, please. All right, so then let's now take a look. And so, just one. The other one, please. There we go. That's good. That's good. All right. Cell cycle. First of all, what do you think the cell cycle is? What do you think the cell cycle is? You can't tell me it's the cycle of the cell because I don't know what cycle is.
It's the daily current the cells go through on a daily basis.
Say it one more time.
It's the daily cycle of cells go through.
What do you mean cycle?
A daily process the cell goes through daily.
A daily process the cell goes through, but what is that? Why? I mean, be a little bit more specific. He says it's a process that the cell goes through daily. Okay, that's good to know. Anybody else have anything? Why is it? What process does it go through, or why does it even go through a process? You all have the same number of cells that you had when you were little, so that they can. Hey, you just said it. Say it again. So they can multiply. So the cell cycle, you want to make sure you write cell cycle. The cell cycle is the process cells go through in order to divide so that they can multiply and make more cells. There is a very important thing in the cell that has to be there at all times for all cells. What is that stuff that's in the cell that is necessary for that cell? It is the nucleus, but what's in that nucleus? DNA. Because the DNA is there to do what for the cell? It gives it its identity. So what has to happen in order for cells to multiply? Shania, you said it a moment ago. said something about DNA. All right, so let me put it this way. Right now in the grocery stores, it's Christmas time, and they're selling a bunch of candy. They actually have a Twix that's about as long, almost as long as your table. I don't know if you've seen it in the grocery store, but it's there. But let's say I bought that. No, that's not beside the point. Pay attention. Let's say I bought that, and I wanted to share it with you all. The way that I have to share it, I first have to divide it so that I can multiply it amongst you all, right? You all want the piece of Twix, correct? But let's say I come around and I peel off a little bit of chocolate and I give it to you, and I scoop off some caramel and I give it to you, and I take some of that cookie thing and I give it to you. Y'all might eat it, but you'll be like, this is not a Twix. I don't want this, right? So therefore, in order for you to actually get the Twix, you must get everything that it is made up of, its full identity. So in order for us to go through this process of making more cells, each cell must have the same what? What is the identity? DNA. So before a cell can multiply, what has to be copied?
DNA.
The DNA must be copied. So to produce more cells, DNA must first be copied. That's the information. I can't multiply you as a cell. I can't make more cells like me if I don't give you the instructions of what I am. Make sure that you are writing. Kim, do you wear glasses? Yeah, you do, because your mother told me in the beginning of the year that make sure you wear glasses. And this is on tape, so I'll make sure she gets this video. Where are they? I'm going to check with her too and let her know, because if you can't see, that means you're not prepared for learning. So again, the instructions have to be copied. My two friends, they are sisters, and they're very, very, very close. They live right next door to each other in Maryland. They wanted their houses to be identical. My one sister loved the other sister's house so much that when she built her house, she wanted to be like hers. Well, in order for it to be identical, her sister had to provide her with the same what? Same blueprint. If she didn't give her the same blueprint, they could not build it the same. Her bathroom downstairs can't be a different dimension because then it's not the same house. Understand? All right. So let's move on from here. This whole thing, the cell cycle, has phases. So the cycle of the cell is to make a new cell, and it comes in phases. Go ahead and write that. Are all of you writing your notes the same way that they're showing up here?
Yeah.
And bulleted and underlined and all that?
Yeah.
Okay, don't just put it all over the paper, because then they're not notes. They're just jumble. The first part of the cell cycle is called interphase. Inter means beginning, like intermediate. You're playing a game and you don't really know much about the game, you might take the intermediate level. That's the beginner level. Swim, intermediate swim. That would be the beginning level of swim. Does that make sense? Okay. Don't worry about all of the things that happens within these phases yet. You don't have to jot anything down with that. We're going to go into more detail. Right now, I just want to introduce you to the phases of a cell cycle and the entire cell cycle. Later on, we'll talk about what happens in each of these stages of the cell cycle. But I am going to just say some things so that later on when we talk about it, it sounds familiar. The next portion is prophase. Pro is like start. Think of a pro athlete. Somebody that's a pro at it, they're going to be the ones that started.
Do you want to draw a little line?
Nope, you don't see those. No, you don't see. For some reason they weren't the same color. I don't know why. So you don't see it.
Okay.
Stop looking at it. The next part is metaphase. Meta means middle, and that's going to have something to do with what's happening during that phase. The next part is anaphase. Then we have a phase called the telophase. And please do not try to focus on yesterday's notes and today's notes. That is not productive. You need to pay attention to today. And the last phase is last part of the cell cycle. It's not a phase. It's called cytokinesis. What does cyto mean? What have we been talking about? Yeah, but cytoplasm, what is that in? The cell. Cyto means cell. Cytoplasma is the plasma of the cell. Cytokinesis means actually the splitting or the cutting of the cell. Kinesis means to split or to cut. So we have cytokinesis. Now, this is the entire cell cycle. This goes from interphase to cytokinesis to multiply the cell. Within the cell cycle, there is something called mitosis. Prophase, metaphase, anaphase, and telophase are all mitosis. Do you remember hearing about mitosis in 8th grade?
Nope.
Okay, well, don't worry about it. We'll go into more detail in the 10th grade. So mitosis is the portion within the cell cycle. What has to be copied in order for a cell to duplicate itself? Where is the DNA located? So therefore, the nucleus must also be what? Copied. That's what mitosis is. Mitosis is where the nucleus is divided to make 2 new nuclei. Nucleus is one, nuclei are many. Everyone good with this? Can I move?
No, wait, hold on.
All right, while you're still writing this, I'm going to ask you a couple questions. Why do you think the cell divides in order to multiply? Is it because it's lonely and needs new friends?
No.
Why? Why do you think our cells do this?
To keep the body on,
What do you mean?
like, alive.
So what makes us alive? What makes us live?
Oh, what I was thinking is they multiply, so each one has their own specific role, like they did where.
But why? Now let's think back to something else that we learned. We learned something called a feedback mechanism. What is that? You did a cartoon on it and you wrote me a little paragraph about it. You better remember what it is. What's a feedback mechanism?
Oh, these trying to maintain.
Huh? To maintain homeostasis. So what does that mean? Your body
Balance.
balances or fixes itself. Correct?
Yeah.
Cell cycle is a feedback mechanism. It is a feedback mechanism because your cells have to make more cells. Do you tell your body, time to make more cells? And your body goes, oh, Vernon says it's time for us to make more cells. Let's make more cells. Or does it do it on its own? It does it on its own to correct itself. What are the reasons why it needs to be corrected? Why do you think? Let me ask you this. Like I said, tomorrow's my little girl's first birthday. Is she the same size that she was at birth? God, I hope not. No. Are you the same size that you were when you were born?
No.
What happened? Of course you grew. How? Do you have the same amount of cells that you did when you were a baby? No. You made more cells. So in order, cells go through the cycle to make more cells so that you can grow. What else? In your life, have you ever cut yourself? And I say cut yourself, I don't mean maybe you had to get stitches. I mean cut yourself like you got a paper cut. Yeah. What happened? You still got that same paper cut?
No.
Is it still bleeding? So what happened? How did it heal? Repelled it how? What is your skin? What's that skin? Made up of many what? Cells. So what happened? The cells multiplied to do what? Fix it, to repair it. Correct? All right. Have you ever scraped or scratched yourself? You got to itch. You got to scratch it. When you do that, you are getting rid of cells. They need to be replaced. Right now, as we speak, in your stomach, your cells are being destroyed. Why? Because you have something called hydrochloric acid in your stomach. Why? Because you have bacteria that you intake every single day, so that hydrochloric acid kills it, but it also damages your stomach cells. But guess what? Feedback mechanism. It fixes it and replaces it. So replacement, growth, and repair are the reasons why your cells multiply underneath your circle. Go ahead and write reasons cells reproduce. What were those reasons again? Repair, grow, and do what? Another R. Replace. Now you are growing every day. Some of you are maybe at the height that you are going to be when you get older. Some of you are not. Some of you are still growing. I actually have been the same height since the 10th grade. So some of you will maintain the height that you're at. However, some of you may get a little bit more muscular. Some of you may start growing more this way. Some of you may grow more this way. Some of you may even grow more this way. Men and women. But all you guys can get pot bellies too. In that process, that is the cell cycle, still reproducing itself. Remember in the movie Osmosis Jones, he says the back cells are the scalp is losing hair follicles or hair cells, skin cells. He says we got more jobs on the back end, back fat. That's cells. Everyone got this? Yes. It's not that you shrink your bone density. Your bones start to get a little softer. It's not that you're shrinking your body, just the bones aren't as strong. So not everybody knows. That's why you should maintain a good diet and workout regimen. Alrighty. For the circle that's there, now the circle will start to make a little bit of sense. Before we move on with this circle, I want you to add some things. Right now you only have gap 1. Right next to that, put the word, oh, that shouldn't be preparation. My apologies. That should be growth. I'm going to fill it in right here, right now. Make sure your gap 1 says growth. Next to synthesis, that's also known as the S portion. And next to gap 2, make that say preparation. That's the preparation portion or preparation stage. While you're doing that, I'm going to explain it. This is the entire cell cycle. Notice it's a circle. It's a cycle. It's going to continue happening over and over again. Gap 1, growth. Here's where your cells grow. They start to get a little bit bigger and they start to replicate the organelles. All your cells have organelles. You have ribosomes, endoplasmic reticulum, the nucleus, all of that type of stuff. And it's also going to make sure that the cells are healthy. It's going to try not to grow a damaged cell. So it's going to do a check. You got everything you need, everything good before we start duplicating, because we don't want to duplicate a damaged cell. If a damaged cell is duplicated, what type of disease is that? No. What? A damaged cell being duplicated. Don't say what, you didn't answer. Ooh. What are multiplied damaged cells? And I know you learned this in 8th grade, and you should know this because this is the #1 killing disease right now. Cancer. Cancer is a damaged cell being duplicated over and over again. From there, it goes into synthesis. What does synthesis mean again? Make something. Here's where DNA is made. It's recopied. It also makes a set. It makes a set of DNA for each daughter cell. Daughter cell doesn't mean that, oh, I'm gonna put some little barrettes on it, look good. I'm gonna name her Guinea. But it means daughter cells. Whenever the cells are duplicated, those duplicated cells are called daughter cells. Why do scientists call them daughter and not son? Because girls are better than boys, obviously. So therefore, from there, we go on to gap 2. Gap 2 is called, gap 2 is called preparation. Now it's preparing to actually make these other cells. This happens quickly. It's not like a slow process like I'm talking about it right now. But gap 2 preparation is additional growth. The cell starts to get a little bit bigger so that it can start to go through these phases. Prophase, metaphase, interphase, telophase. Now, on your paper, you also have some words written here. Cross them out. You have words written in this spot right here. Go ahead and cross them out because I want to make your circle be a little bit more correct. All right. Now, what I want you to do, see this line here? I want you to continue it by drawing. Where's my line? I want you to continue that by drawing another line there and there.
Where?
See these 2 lines I just put up there? Go ahead and continue those. So you're going to look like you just bought a pizza. You really don't want to share it. So you're going to cut this little piece for your little brother because you want to eat all of this. All right, got that?
Yeah.
In addition to that, you want to go ahead and draw a line here. Because now your little brother don't want to share his. So his friend said, please, I ain't no lunch. So he went ahead and cut there. Questions? All right. So with that being said, from your notes, we realize that there's a process that the cells have to go through. That process, that beginning portion of the cell cycle, what was that called from your notes? The very starting portion. Interphase. So you want to go ahead and label out interphase, which is here. Gap 1, S, and gap 2 is the interphase portion of the cell cycle. What is prophase, metaphase, anaphase, and telophase? Mitosis.
You gotta write a box.
You know, I just put it there so you know it's all around. You can write one big word all the way around, or you can write it a couple times, but all of that is interphase. Who remembers what I said cytokinesis is?
It's the splitting and cutting of cells.
Splitting of the cutting of cells. Very good, Leon. So there, you want to label that cell division. That's when the cell actually divides. When you're finished writing that, go ahead and put your notes away because I'm going to introduce the next portion of what it is that we're going to be doing. While we're doing that, Ayana, Bubakar, one second, move here. Oh, it's not going to work. Yeah, I have to make it work. And Latavia, you guys move to this table right here. Yes. Okay. All right. Right now, what it is that we're going to do, I apologize. Don't put your paper away. I'm so sorry. I apologize. We got to flip it over to the other side because that's going to be the portion of the game that you're about to play. Everything else you can take off the table, yes. If you flip your paper over to the other side, you have a paper that looks like this. Let's do it quickly so you can have a chance to play the game. You have a paper that looks like this. In this, you are going to have to play the role of a cell. There are 4 different types of cells out there. Some of you only have 3 people in your group, so you'll be using 3 cells. But the 4 cells that are out there are the liver cell, blood cell. Can't remember the other ones. You got liver cell, blood cell, nerve cell, and skin cell. You are only going to be one type of cell, but you might see where your cell may change. But what cell you start off with, you're going to be putting here. Right now, if you just take a look at your table, there's 4 colored pieces of clay. And there's also procedure here. Put this procedure sheet in front of you. There is probably 2 so that you can share amongst the group. Unless you have 3, just put the 1 in front of you. And you guys can grab that other one, this table. All right. Right now, take a moment and decide what type of cell you're going to be. Again, it's liver, skin, blood, and nerve. Huh? No, each person is going to be a different cell. Look up here quickly. For the cell type, write down the type of cell you are. If you decided to be a blood cell, grab the red clay. If you decided to be a liver, grab the blue. And if you decided to be a nerve cell, grab the green. And if you're the skin cell, grab the yellow. Put that in front of you. Write down the name of the cell that you are. I'm going to start you off with the procedures in just a moment, and then you're going to play the game. You have a game board that looks like this. Notice on the game board, this is the cell cycle. It goes from G1 all the way through to cytokinesis. which is under M for mitosis. In a moment, you're going to be using some information to help you go through the process of the cell cycle. You have your Clado that you picked out for whatever color cell you are, and then there are cards here. The cards that you're going to choose from is the card that's actually your cell. So if you're the liver cell, go ahead and get that card in front of you. The blood cell, get the red card. The nerve cell, get the green. And the skin cell, get the yellow. Put the cancer cell to the side. What you're going to be doing as you go through, you're going to be rolling the dice. Whatever number you roll, you look at your card, and your card is going to tell you what to do with the cell. Does that make sense so far? All right, in order to get started, let's take a look at the procedures. You have your Clado in front of you, or your Play-Doh, or whatever it is that you want to call it, in front of you. I need one of those. Oh, no, I don't. So the first thing that you're going to do, you are going to take your clay out, and you're going to prepare your clay model of your cell. You're going to take out a little piece, and not all of it, just a little piece, and roll it into a ball the size of a marble. That should take no more than 30 seconds to do. You're going to take off a little piece of your clay, and you're going to put that to the side because somebody else may need some of it, and roll it the size of a marble. Once you do that, you're going to place your model cell, which is your little marble clay, on the game board at the beginning of the game near the start of G1 phase. If you look at the procedures, I'm reading procedure 5. According to your start, your cell has just completed the mitosis phase, which is the M phase, and of the cell cycle, and is ready to begin another cycle. You're going to begin round 1 of the game with your blood cell. So raise your hand if you're a blood cell. And the rest of the group is going to proceed clockwise. So point which way you're going to start. Clockwise. So Bubakar's going to go next, and Ayana. So you're going to go clockwise. Yeah. All right. Not yet. When it's your turn, you're going to roll both of the die. Pay attention. Then you're going to look at your cell cycle game key, which is your color card that you have in front of you, and you're going to find out what the number you rolled and follow those instructions. On your sheet that you have that looks like this, right now you are at the G1 phase. On your sheet, you are going to record what happened to your cell in that round of the game. Then you're going to tell your group members what happened to your cell. Well, they're obviously going to see that, and you're going to continue to play the game. Notice on your sheet, it says what happened, then it says total number of cells at the end of a round. It may say something like add some clay, about 1.5 more pieces of clay to make your cell larger. Right now, you have 1 cell. If you add 1.5, how many cells do you have at the end of that round? 2.5. If it says something like add 2.5, how many cells do you have? 3.5. So let's say it's 3.5 here, and the next round says add 1.5. How many do you have? 5. So make sure you're using your addition to add how many cells you have after each round. Some points it may say that your cell is done, and it may tell you to go somewhere and your cell doesn't multiply anymore, but it may say you become a different type of cell. So that's when you'll take clay from whatever type of cell, and then you will start to look onto their card on what to do. Does that make sense? No, it'll tell you make a whole nother piece. All right, any questions? Okay, when you do that, you need to make sure that when you're starting to multiply it, you need to take into consideration what you had prior so that you add on, all right? All right, so let's go ahead and play the game. Yes, the little ball.